Something strange is happening right now, and I think you've already felt it. You open your banking app and something feels off. The number going out every month is bigger than it used to be, but the life you're living isn't bigger. You're not eating at fancier restaurants or buying more stuff. You're just buying the same stuff for more money and somehow saving less of it. But turn on the news and you'll hear a completely different story. Unemployment is low, GDP is growing, the economy, officially, is fine. So which one is it? Healthy or deeply broken underneath? After going through every article and economic report I could find, I think both things are true at the same time. The official numbers are not lying, they're just measuring the wrong thing. And that gap between what the data says and what you're actually experiencing is exactly where recessions hide before anyone admits they exist. The recession isn't coming. For a lot of people, it's already arrived. The system just hasn't gotten around to telling you yet. Most people think recessions get declared when they start, like someone at the top flips a switch and announces, "Recession begins now, adjust your life accordingly." That is not how it works. Recessions in the US are officially called by the NBER, a private research organization so cautious in its methodology it almost becomes comical. They don't declare anything until they've collected months of comprehensive data across every sector, and by that point, the recession has usually already ended. The 2008 financial crisis didn't get its official stamp until 12 months after it began. Lehman Brothers had already collapsed, millions had already lost jobs, the housing market had already imploded. Only then did the NBER update its website. The 2001 recession started in March, got declared in November, when most of the damage was already done. The 2020 pandemic crash was so violent and brief that by the time it was declared in June, it was technically already over. They were announcing a recession that had come and gone in 2 months. This is a pattern, not a coincidence. The official system is structurally designed to confirm the past, not warn about the present. Which means right now, there could be a recession actively unfolding, and the people whose job it is to name it won't say a word for another 6 to 12 months. So instead of waiting for the announcement, let's look at what the data is already telling us. Let's start with the number that gets the most airtime, unemployment, currently sitting around 4.4%. On the surface, that sounds reasonable, but the way unemployment is measured has serious gaps the headline never mentions. The official rate only counts someone as unemployed if they've actively applied for a job within the last 4 weeks. The moment a person stops applying out of exhaustion, hopelessness, or because they've given up, they stop being counted. They vanish from the statistic entirely. Since the pandemic, over 1.6 million Americans have done exactly that, stopped looking, and none of them appear in the 4.4% figure. Labor force participation has also slipped nearly 1.5% below pre-pandemic levels, a quiet erosion that never makes the front page, but tells you something real about how people feel about their options. And then there's the quality problem. Even the jobs being added aren't the jobs that were lost. Full-time positions with benefits and predictable hours, those are disappearing. In their place, gig work, part-time contracts, split shifts. If a full-time worker loses their job and picks up 2 part-time gigs to cover rent, the government records that as a net gain of 1 job. 2 new jobs created, 1 lost. Progress. That's how 4.4 million Americans end up working part-time, not by choice, but because nothing full-time is available, while the jobs report still reads healthy. The number isn't wrong, it's just not measuring what you think it's measuring.
Consumer spending is still being celebrated as a sign of a healthy economy. And technically the spending numbers are real, people are spending, but nobody's asking where the money is coming from. Prices across the economy are up more than 25% since 2020. The same grocery run, the same tank of gas, the same monthly bills, all cost a quarter more than 4 years ago. Incomes haven't kept pace, so people have started bridging the gap with debt. Total credit card balances in the U.S. hit $1.28 trillion by the end of 2025. And those balances aren't sitting at 5% interest, they're compounding at around 22%. That means for every $1,000 someone carries month to month, they're paying $220 a year just in interest. Not paying down debt, just servicing it. The savings rate has quietly collapsed from the historical average of around 8% down to about 4.5%. The cushion people had, the buffer that gets you through a rough patch, has been cut almost in half. So when the media reports strong consumer spending, what they're really reporting is that people are finding a way to keep the lights on. That's not economic health, that's financial survival dressed up as a positive data point. Spending driven by debt is a countdown timer, not a growth story. Now here's where you might push back. Maybe the jobs data has quirks. Credit card debt is high, savings are down, but maybe these are isolated issues having a bad stretch independently. Except they're not showing up independently. They're all showing up at the same time. The leading economic index, 10 forward-looking indicators engineered to catch recessions early, has been declining for 6 straight months. The same 6-month downward streak appeared before both the 2001 and 2008 recessions. Not similar, identical. Corporate bankruptcies have climbed over 7% in the past year, crossing 24,000 filings, the highest count in over a decade. These aren't startups without a business model. These are companies that survived the pandemic, survived the rate hikes, and are now finally running out of runway. Manufacturing has been contracting, consumer confidence has been falling for 3 consecutive quarters, the yield curve has been doing things it only does before recessions. Any single one of these might be noise, but all of them pointing the same direction at the same time, that's a pattern. And patterns in economic data don't tend to be accidents. When your check engine, oil pressure, brake warning, and battery lights all come on simultaneously, that's a very different conversation. If things are this rough underneath, why do the headline numbers keep looking okay? I kept landing on the same concept, Goodhart's law, and once you understand it, everything clicks. Goodhart's law says the moment a measurement becomes a target, it stops being a useful measurement. Because once a number becomes something careers and elections depend on, people stop improving the underlying reality and start optimizing the number itself. The unemployment rate assumes anyone working even 1 hour a week is fully employed, a software engineer on a full salary, and someone doing a single delivery on a Tuesday afternoon sit in the exact same bucket. The number improves, but your picture of who's actually financially secure goes nowhere. GDP counts credit-fueled spending identically to income-fueled spending. A country where everyone borrows to buy things looks identical on a GDP chart to one where everyone earns more and buys things. One is growth, one is a debt spiral. The number doesn't distinguish. Inflation indexes track a basket of goods that gets quietly adjusted over time. If steak gets too expensive, the basket switches to chicken. Your cost of living goes up, the index doesn't fully capture it. None of this is a conspiracy. It's what happens when you manage the measurement instead of the reality it was supposed to represent. That gap isn't an accident. It's where recessions live until they get too big to hide.
Higher income households are doing well. Investments recovered, home values held, tax cuts benefit them, and real assets back their spending. But lower and middle income households are living something different. Savings depleted, credit maxed, working multiple jobs for less purchasing power than 4 years ago. For them, the recession quietly arrived and never left. Average both into one GDP number and it looks okay, but okay describes neither group accurately. Next time someone says the economy is strong, ask them which one. The NBER will eventually confirm this recession. Media will call it breaking news, but millions already lived it. Stop waiting. Watch consumer confidence, credit delinquency rates, and labor force participation. When headlines celebrate job growth, ask what kind. When they brag about spending, ask where the money came from. When inflation looks contained, check what got removed from the basket.